Okay, ladies and gentlemen, time to look at some of the blue cards from Khans of Tarkir. So we're gonna start off with a one drop. It's Embodiment of Spring. It's a one mana 0/3 elemental creature, and then for one and a green, you can tap it, sacrifice it, search your library for a basic land card, put it on the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. Yeah, I mean this is a replacement level, nothing to really write home about. You can put it to Sultai, maybe a less aggressive Timur, but it's not an impressive card really. Icy Blast, so it's an X and a versus blue. It's an instant tap X target creatures, and if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, those creatures basically get stunned for a turn. So don't untap during their controller's next untap step. Yeah, this card is very very good, especially in Timur. Yeah, like you're gonna find a way where you can basically decommission their entire board for a turn, and then well 2 turns rather, because you're gonna do it in their end step, attack once, pass a turn, they don't untap, and then you can attack another time. So this is basically your finisher. It's a very, very good card. Stubborn Denier, counter target non-creature spell, honest controller plays one. If you control a creature with power 4 or greater, counter that spell instead. Yeah, I mean, this I would start in the sideboard and bring it in if your opponent has non-creature spells which bother you, especially again in Timur. So you can make that happen. Disdain full stroke, so this is a very very good hard counter. So this was common, and this was I think the first printing of this card. So it's one and a blue instant counter target spell with mana value 4 or greater. So generally you got mana efficiency out of it. You counter a 5 or 6 drop, you feel very very good, and this is a hard counter for that. So yeah, it's a good card. Dragonite Savant. So this is a 2 mana human wizard, and then you can morph it by revealing a blue card in your hand. And when it turns up, you look at target opponent's hand and it's a 0/6. So yeah, if you have a little bit more controlling deck, this could be serviceable. And you can also play it for the morph cost and keep it as a morph, so then you get a 2/2 for 3, which is not impressive, but it's again, it has power and can attack. So yeah, you can occasionally put this into your deck. It's an uncommon, but it blocks a lot of things. So I think if you have a better late game, then this card could be good. Force Away, it's a 2 mana instant. Return target creature to its owner's hand, and that's ferocious. If you control a creature with power 4 or greater, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. So it lets you loot and then bounces one of their creature. Yeah, I mean it's not bad like in a Jeskai deck, but it's not like an impressive card either. Jeskai Elder, now this one is a good card. So it's a 2 mana human monk, and it's a 1/2 with prowess. So if you cast a non-creature spell, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. So when it damages the player, you loot. Yeah, it's solid. That's like Merfolk Looter in action. So solid 2 drop, and you want to put it in your deck. Singing Bell Strikes, it's a 2 mana aura ancient creature. When this aura enters, tap ancient creature, and it doesn't untap during their own controller's untap step, except that for 6 mana your opponent can untap it. So this is good to buy time till the mid late game. At one point they're gonna have 6 mana and they're gonna start untapping the thing, especially if they have nothing else to play. But it can buy you the time, and it's a tempo play. Like if you kill the opponent before they have 6 mana, then this was a Tomb Blade. So yeah, so draft it accordingly. Diagram scheming. So this is 2 mana sorcery survey 5. This is not good. Like you have to have like an absolute bonkers like graveyard game to warrant like a card which is survey 5. Like you don't draw the card. Like that's the problem here. You fill your graveyard, but the graveyard has to be super important for you. Like maybe a multiple treasure cruise deck can sneak in one of these. I don't know. But yeah, like it's not a high pick. Wetland Samba, so it's an elk, one and a blue, and it's a 2/1 vanilla. It's a curve filler, so in some decks you take it because you need 2 drops in your curve to stifle early aggression, but it's generally speaking not an impressive card at all. Cancel, oh this is my boy. I really don't like cancel. I think even in 2015, like holding up 3 mana for a counter spell just way too much. But it's an instant for 3 mana counter target spell. If this was 2 mana, that's a different story, but 3 mana is just a lot. I'm not a fan, but people beat me with cancel regularly, so take it for what it worth. Crippling Chill, so it's a 3 mana instant tap target creature. It doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step, so it stuns a creature, and you draw a card. Like, I think this card is really, really good. Like, it's solid tempo play. You get back the card, doesn't cost you anything, and then, yeah, get a creature decommissioned for 2 turn. Jeskai Wind Scout, so it's a 3 mana bird scout, 1 flying and prowess. Now, this is very, very good, I think. Yeah, like, this is kind of like Winddrake's test to begin with, which you're not unhappy with, and sometimes you need to use those spells, and then this can chunk in fair amount of damage. Monastery Flock, so it's a 3 mana bird defender flying, and it has more for 1. So again, yeah, it's a 0/5. So if you want a good blocker, then you flip it up. If not, then you can just always keep it as a morph and use this 2/2. Yeah, I think because of these two different applications, this card is not that bad. It's a common. I mean, you don't want 5 of these in your deck for sure. Quiet Contemplation, so it's a 3 mana enchantment. Whenever you cast an own creature spell, you may pay 1. If you do tap target creature on opponent control and it gets stunned for a turn, yeah, this one is good. This one is solid in the Jeskai deck. This is an engine which can help you push through damage, especially if you have flyers to back it, because then you tap those flyers, they can't really block and they just keep taking damage. Yeah, this is a build around, but it's a good build around at that. Clever Impersonator, so it's a 4 mana shapeshifter 0/0, and then you may have this creature enter as a copy of any non-land permanent on the battlefield. So this can clone basically creatures, but it can clone planeswalkers too, like, or anything else. This is again a mythic for a reason. Yeah, you take it and then you enjoy it, taking your opponent best cards. Keru Spell Snatcher. So this is a good morph too. So this one is a 4 mana Snake Wizard. It's 3/3, and then it morphs for 6, which is a lot. But when this creature turns face up, counter target spell. If that spell is countered this way, exile it instead of putting it to its owner's graveyard. You may cast that card without paying its mana cost for as long as it remains exiled. So this is a game-winning play. Like, people don't give it as much credit for, but really, like taking one of their best creatures and then cast it for free on your side and get a 3C with it, that's just one card advantage, right? Like, insane, like, kind of tempo loss on their side. Yeah, very, very good card. So yeah, so good draft. Misfire Weaver, so it's a 4 mana Gene Wizard with flying. It's a 3/1 and it morphs for 2 and a blue. So nothing wrong with this. And when it turns up, target creature you control gains hexproof until end of turn. Yeah, so that's what makes it an uncommon. Like, you can basically, like negate a removal spell, and that's just again a devastating play because you're gonna get a flyer from it. Yeah, they can probably skip the turn for that. Yeah, solid card. Skullkin, so it's a 4 mana elemental 2/2 flyer. So this is Windrake and 1 mana more. But it does have an ability, so it's 2 and a red, sacrifice it, it deals 2 damage to any target. Yeah, I mean, this is serviceable. Like, it's not, like, insane, but again, you would play Windrake, and then this has like extra reach over the flyer, and then it can kill a creature too if that bothers you. So yeah, it's not unplayable. Sign of Glacier, so it's a 4 mana elemental 2/5 at uncommon, and then for blue, this creature gets +1/-1 on the end of turn. Yeah, I mean, this could tangle with a lot of things. Again, that's not necessarily the A plus bomb that you would expect in some creatures, but it's totally serviceable on the 4 sub. Vivo Fate 4 mana instant, draw 2 cards. So this is instant speed divination for 1 more mana. Yeah, you could play it because you can hold up the mana, so that's something in terms of tempo, and then it draws you cards. Binding Spray, so it's a 5 mana instant creature. Your opponent's control gets -4/-, so on to end of turn, and you draw a card. I think that one, the draw a card clause, makes this card very playable because if like in other cases, games end in a board stall where people make an alpha strike and they try to unmorph things. Now this counters that play completely. And again, sometimes you have a lot of mana, so 5 is a lot to hold up, but it's not like completely unmanageable. And again, the draw card like makes it reasonable here. Mystic of the Hidden Way, it's 5 mana human monk. This creature can be blocked, and you can morph it up for 2 and a blue, and it's a 3/2. Yeah, 3/2 unblockable for 5 is really, really good. That's one way to again solve the board stars and get a win from them. Whirlwind Adept, so it's a Gene Monk for 5 mana, it's a 4/2 with hexproof and prowess. Yeah, this card is not bad. The 2 toughness kind of stinks, but the hexproof is very powerful, and then your opponent always need to sit on pins and needles to think whether you have spells, and then you can grow it to like 4 toughness. And on a double block, it takes 2 creatures. Yeah, I think you can make this card happen. Glacier Stalkers, it's a 6 mana elemental for 5, and it has morph for 5. Yeah, I mean this is the low end of it. Again, if you need that curve filler or an extra morph, you can use it, but this card is not impressive. Reviver Aerialist, it's a 6 mana Gene Monk with flying prowess, and it's a 4/5. Yep, this is solid. This is solid. Like a 4/5 flyer for 6, there's nothing wrong with it, and this could be better than that. So yeah, if you need something at the top of that curve, this is your boy. Set Adrift, so it's a sorcery. Put target non-land permanent on top of its owner's library, it's kind of removal. And more importantly, it has Delve. So in Sultai deck, you're frequently gonna cast this for 1 mana and like remove their biggest threat. Yeah, this is not bad, this card. Thousand Wind. So this is a 6 mana elemental with flying, 5/6. If it stops there, that's already good. But it can be morphed and then unmorphed for 7 mana. When turned up, return all other tapped creatures to their owner's hand. Wow. So this is your cyclonic lift stapled into what is this? The Mahamoti. Yeah, very, very, very strong card. Like this is an absolute key, build around. If you draft it, you gotta stick with blue, and then this will win you games. Waterworld, so it's a 6 mana instant, return up to 2 target creatures to their owner's hand. Yeah, 2 is a lot. So returning 2 creatures, especially at instant speed, at a critical combat can make or break a game. So look at it that way. Pearl Lake Ancient, so this used to be your standard control finisher in the era where Wizards spent multiple years apologizing for Sphinx's revelation. So they made sure control is not very, very playable. In limited, I think this card is much, much, much better than in constructed. In constructed, the problem with this card is that let's read it. So 7 mana Leviathan Flash can't be countered. These are all very, very good. 6/7, it's gonna eat a creature, it has prowess, everything you want. And then the problem is, well, it's not a problem. It's an extra ability, but returns 3 lands you control to their owner's hand, and you can return it to the owner's hand. So that's kind of your protection with this creature. It used to be a control finisher, play 1 or 2 copy, and then you can always protect it for free. But the reality was that returning 3 lands was really a price. Like if you have 8 lands, then return 3 of them, then you're not gonna be able to cast this for another 2 turns. So it was a problem that it made tempo relevant at a stage of the game against a control deck where it shouldn't have been relevant anymore. And the constructed formats tend to have good removal, so it wasn't easy to target this and try to kill it. In limited, I think this is super solid. You're gonna love this card. So yeah, draft it accordingly. And then dig through time, vintage, legacy, all format, all star, banned in multiple formats. So this is yeah, so this is an instant 6 and blue blue. And look at the top 7 cards of your library, put 2 of them into your hand, and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Yeah, so you can basically demon it to the kind of 2 cards in limited, and it has delve. That's what makes this card really, really good. Like you exile 6 cards from your graveyard and you cast it for blue blue, and then you immediately flood the board with those cards which you 2 for. Treasure Cruise, so that just shows how bad Ancestral Recall is from a game design perspective. So Wizards every once in a while try to create fixed versions of Ancestral Recall, and every single one of those cards also get banned. Treasure Cruise is no exception, so it's 8 mana. That's a joke here. You draw 3 cards. It's a sorcery, not an instant. But with the Delve, you can reduce it to 1 mana, exiling 7 cards, and that's exactly what people did, starting to abuse the card. And then in multiple formats, people are splashing blue into decks like Burn, which has no business to playing blue, just so they can get 3 cards for 1 mana. So yeah, that's how broken this card is. In limited, it's probably more palatable, but still, it's a good card. Like you want to have the first copy in your deck. I think you can delve it and then you can get your extra card that way. So yeah, so this was blue for you. Thanks for watching, and we're gonna head over to black soon. And see you there.